Welcome back to the Fast Life podcast, which is brought to you by Simpson Motorcycle Helmets. I've been hanging with these guys and rocking these helmets for years. They're great helmets, some of the best looking ones in the game, and you can find out more about these awesome headpieces over at SimpsonMotorcycleHelmets.com, as well as Simpson Motorcycle Helmets on Instagram. On today's episode, we have Pat and Tim from First Manufacturing Co. These guys have been pushing this brand pretty hard for the last couple of years. I'm stoked to finally have them on the podcast. We had a great time. We recorded this while we were in Milwaukee for the House of Harley party. So before we get into this episode, let's hear from these sponsors, and then we'll jump right into it. House of Harley Davidson, located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, has your HD covered with the performance upgrades we all want, along with service, sales, and a stacked parts department. Head on over to houseofharley.com, where you can get genuine HD parts for your bike and official HD gear for the ride. Drop the FASTLIFE offer code to save yourself 13% online, and give my guys a follow at House of Harley on Instagram. Thundermax and their eSIM computers are designed to provide your EFI-equipped Harley Davidson with the most advanced auto-tuning available. A Thundermax eSIM eliminates tuning hassles when upgrading your exhaust, air cleaner, or when adding a big bore kit or cam, by allowing you the ability to simply download a base map and let the computer do the rest. Thundermax is also in the suspension game with their Iride rear suspension. This is a performance rear air ride which gives you the ability to adjust many aspects from the handlebar mounted touchscreen. This rear suspension is the best of both worlds. Check out these products at shoptmax.com, where you can use the offer code FASTLIFE for 10% off, and don't forget to follow Thundermax EFI on Instagram. Lexan Moto is my Bluetooth headset company and has been for almost 3 years now. The quality and sound and battery life make those long days on the open road much more enjoyable. Their latest headset, the G16, is designed to make group rides much better with a 16-rider comm system, Bluetooth 5.0, music sharing, and fast USB-C charging. Among the many things Lexan does for our moto community, they also offer the absolute best customer service you could ask for. Check out Lexan-moto.com to find out what model suits your needs, and drop the FASTLIFE offer code at checkout to save yourself 15%. And lastly, give these guys a follow on Instagram at LexanMoto. S&S has been providing the motorcycle industry with top-notch, high-performance products since 1958. From their exhaust systems to their air cleaners and everything in between, S&S strives to create high-quality and reliable products that will bring out the power and torque of your engine. From the drag strip to the flat track, and now even the king of baggers, the S&S products are always on the podium. You can find out more about S&S cycles at sscycle.com and take a peek inside the world with their Performance Times podcast, which is available on all podcast platforms. When it comes to lighting on my motorcycle, for the last year, it's been electric lighting. Their Shark Tooth headlight is providing both insane visibility and killer curb appeal. I've paired it with their LED turn signals and brake lights, which are much brighter than factory, with great warranties for peace of mind while you ride. NAM's Custom Cycle Products since 1999 has been offering American-made wiring products for all things V-twin, and Badlands for over 30 years has been offering the most reliable and dependable lighting modules in the USA, all backed by lifetime warranties. Find out more about these great companies at namscustomcycleproducts.com, where you can drop the FL2021 offer code, which will save you shipping on orders over $100. Now let's get into this episode with Pat and Tim of First Manufacturing Co. Let's go.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast.
So politics.
Man.
I'm fucking with you.
But in a real thing, it's like that's one of the reasons why we don't do like lightning bolt stitching.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Really?
Yeah. Just to
of
like
him.
here's the thing.
For a good reason.
It's when you do stuff like that, you're opening up floodgates for people to be a dick. Right? So like no matter where you sit, you know, politically, you know, it's like today's current climate, no matter what side, is very temperamental. So like, you know, realistically, like I said, I just, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean because people are so like on the internet, they just take any opportunity to blurt how they feel at that moment rather than how they feel like collecting all the angles of everything and putting together a very educated assumption of some situation as just blurting up how they feel at the moment or some shit.
Yeah, so it's like, because of social media and stuff like that, it's easier for people to see a headline and, not identify with that headline, but agree a little bit and just toss it out there. Literally, you can put a headline out that says something somewhat smart, and then you can have an entire article that has the word itself bullshit copy and pasted 500 times, and people wouldn't notice that because they just see the article on Facebook and click share.
Maybe this is a touchy topic, but why do you think it got so popular doing the lightning bolts in like the Dyna chopper? I know that it's always been around in the vintage.
It's always been like the chopper thing.
Yeah.
It was, I think it was always meant to be offensive. It's the chopper scene, back in the day, or any scene. It's to kind of be vulgar and offensive, and a kind of a don't approach me type of thing, and that's where the SWAT stickers kind of came out, and SS bolts and the chopper scene, and it's still pretty relevant right now. Relevant.
Well, not relevant. It's
not relevant, but it's still out there.
It's still around.
It's still around.
Here's the thing, and this is kind of how I learned about it in the motorcycle scene.
Yeah.
All of that stuff stemmed from World War II and guys that, were over in World War II that came back that rode motorcycles, and they took all of those things after killing Nazis. They took all of those things and were wearing them as like a token, like, I killed you, I'm wearing your shit now, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where it's just like, people are so disconnected to it, and then all the white power shit started happening. It's just like, fuck all that. Like, and to be completely honest, like in the motorcycle scene, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I just want to ride motorcycles with my friends and hang out and do cool shit. Like, why do you gotta be a dick about stuff like that? Like, I don't know. It's just, anyway,
I get it. It kind of, I'm guilty of it because I use it in my logo, just at least one, not two.
Yeah.
But it's funny because about 10 years ago, I felt like everything was stars. People had stars and everything. And then it just kind of turned into lightning bolts.
Yeah. Like, people use it and it's just like, I don't know. I honestly don't think like, a company like Thrashin uses a lightning bolt.
A lot of companies use them.
Tampa Bay Lightning, they're called the Lightning. Like, they use a lightning bolt. So like, I don't think those are, particularly like, they're not trying to go for that chopper, offensive thing, but then obviously there's other companies that do it that it's just like,
well, it's the intent, right? That their intent is not to be
exactly that way. It's all about the intent and where you lie. But honestly, for most of this stuff, like even with like us doing the vests and stuff like that, there's guys that do it and we're like, that's cool, that's totally fine. But the last thing that any company needs is to just dabble and then for a shitstorm to happen. So it's like, even just every aspect of my life, I'm just like, if that's minorly questionable, I'm just like, I don't need it. I don't need to do it.
How many different types of demographics of bike scenes do you guys kind of facilitate?
Everything.
All of them.
Literally
everything. So like a typical day, for me, and this is, just, speaking, out of the blue, we get a guy from a Jap bike scene, wanting to make a vest, like a tactical type SWAT style. Then we get like a adventure guy that's on a BMW or a KTM. It's every single demographic of motorcycle we deal with. There isn't one that we don't deal with.
Yeah. It's kind of cool being able to, see all of the products coming in and saying, oh, wow, like, I can definitely tell that this guy's an older rider.
Yeah, you can just
the
tell.
Guys that come in with the Western style vests with the deep V cuts, like, that was
The chain extenders.
Yeah, with the chain
exactly. Like
extenders,
those
and
are
then-
those things that have been around for however many years.
You can see who's like someone that's like trying to be, in the scene or up and coming or whatever. So they got to have like the latest trend or the best of the best or, whatever we just released the day before. They have to have it, which is cool.
I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, well, it's a good thing for business, but
Yeah.
it's crazy how everything has become so. I wouldn't say it's become. It's just crazy that it is so brands. And I'm guilty of this, and I'm not saying it's anything bad about it, but I got a Ramjet shirt on, and then there's a Thrashing shirt, and it's like we wear these flags to these events just so that I know. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
In any subculture, you're going to get. It's kind of like a status thing.
Yeah.
You think
it's all who you know too. It's I'm proud that I know. I mean, the shirt I got on here is Butera's Metalworks, chopper builder. I'm proud to call him a friend.
Exactly.
Or anything.
Exactly.
So it's I wear his brand, Tombstone.
There's
Not
levels.
because I like the brand, but it's 'cause I like you.
There's levels. Asshole. There's definitely levels of like, hey, I know this guy, so I want to support him.
Yeah.
There's different levels of that, but then there's also different levels of brands that you don't necessarily know, but you're like, I want people to know that I know who this company is.
Yeah.
And it's just like in the band scene and the music scene, like there's kids that know 3 songs from a band, but will wear the T-shirt because of a status thing.
Yeah.
And realistically, the first thing that you notice about somebody usually is what shirt they're wearing or whatever. It's you're like, oh, that guy's wearing a Harley shirt, and that's honestly how Harley built their brand. It helped Harley build their brand to what they are now, is because everybody had to have a Harley T-shirt.
Yeah.
Before the 70s, it was a little bit different because like the graphic tee thing wasn't around. Once the 80s came in and everybody had, a graphic T-shirt.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, I don't know anybody that rides motorcycles that doesn't own a Harley shirt.
Yeah.
Or at least
Had
multiple Harley shirts. Exactly.
Yeah.
For a Harley rider, I mean, I know.
Well, yeah. But even I guess you could say cruiser rider.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have your guys that ride your sport bikes and stuff like that like they don't fuck around with Harley shirts, but like
I know some people that just hate Harley.
Guys get
have-
Alpine Star stuff and
Yeah.
Joe Rocket or whatever the fuck.
exactly. But they're still rocking those brands because they want people to know, hey, I know what these companies are, and I roll with these companies
And I mean,
or whatever.
as of late, First Manufacturing has come up in that category.
Yeah.
Where people are wearing our products because they're First Manufacturing.
Yeah.
It's, we created some T-shirts and they were selling like crazy.
Yeah.
And, we're like, we didn't realize that this could be something really good, is that, we're becoming an established brand.
Yeah.
We've been around forever. We've been around for 30-something years.
Yeah.
As of late, really jumping into, the personal industry life, going to the rallies, meeting people, stuff like that. So people are getting to really know us as of late, and it's been phenomenal.
You guys hit the ground running this last year. I mean, I saw you all over the place.
Yeah, this
to be
year
honest
was
with you.
our best
We tried
year.
we tried to hit every possible rally and every possible cool guy event,
Yeah.
There was definitely a couple that we missed that, I would have loved to be at, especially me doing social media. Obviously for me it's content. That. It's always content. And the more pictures that I have in my portfolio, the easier it is for me to just pick and choose what I want to post that day or that week or whatever.
I just want the rod.
Exactly.
I just want the rod.
It was definitely
that's it.
cool to be able, like, I went to Sturgis for the first time this year, with the company. And, like, I was lucky enough to go out and I hung out with Pat and I met a bunch of people out there and it was a lot of fun. But, like, now doing that, I'm like, I have to go back on my own time just to ride. Like, I don't want to do any of the rally stuff. I just want to ride every day. Like, wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, get on my bike, ride till 5 o'clock when the sun's going down, and then just get dinner and then chill.
Be done.
What kind of bike you want to do it on, Tim?
Just do it.
Well, listen, me and Tim talk a lot of shit to each other, and like
we're inseparable.
A little side note is I think it might have been Travis from Outcast Culture. We went away from Mark's bachelor party.
Oh yeah. Oh, no. I think it was CJ.
It might have been somebody, whoever it was. They thought that me and him hate each other. They were like, because we just talk so much shit to each other. It was so
much shit talk in the first day. They were
is
like,
there going to be a problem with you guys?
Yeah,
we're like, the fuck you guys talking
these
about?
These guys not like each other, but it's the fact that even before we worked together, we hung out 4 or 5 times a week. And then once we started working together full time, it's like we see each other every single day, and then we'd go on events. And for the weekend, we'd be like, all right, I'm seeing you for another 24 hours and again and again and again.
Again.
You know, spending so much time in a van together, you get to
But people also see that too, that they almost call like First Manufacturing the Pat and Tim show.
I'm literally on your Instagram right now looking for this picture that I fucking love because I want to bring it up in this thing. Because you guys have like this this thing going back and forth that it is like a brother kind of thing, like a it's fun. It's fun to watch.
People are realizing it, and they're like, you know what? It's a job, but it's fun when you actually work with people that you like and care about. And I could say that, you know, not only about Tim, but the rest of the team that we got going on Long Island. It's you know, we hang out before work, during work, outside of work. We're bullshitting nonstop. We're making jokes. It's, you know, it's a job, so we have to take it serious, but it's probably one of the most fun jobs I've had because we just talk shit all day.
I just want to let you guys know that this photo is the cover photo for this podcast.
Wait, it's got to
be the tan jacket one. It's the tan jacket.
I fucking love that photo, dude.
You know what's really funny, man? You know what's funny? Pat put that jacket on and he's taking pictures, and I was just like, I went to this kid Dowd that works in front of me. He's like the warehouse manager's son. He does all our marketing stuff. I'm like, yo, go get me one of those jackets in a 2X. Brings it upstairs. And it was funny because Pat was just like, I never get my own thing. But those pictures came out so perfect. And I mean, there's other ones. We'll show you the folder. It's hilarious.
It gives me like a Dick in a Box vibe.
Yeah. The SNL vibe. It was a Saturday Night, a Saturday Night Live thing, and we did other photos. And
if you just had like a chin strap fucking thing going on, dude, that would have been a game over.
It was kind of funny. One of the girls that works in the office that does graphic design stuff.
She made them like editing. The commercial photos.
She took the SNL format.
She put FML in it, First Manufacturing Live, or Fuck My Life, whatever.
Dude, so funny.
It was a lot of fun, man.
But it's cool to be able to work with a group of people that you enjoy working with. Yeah. And I think that work in that environment, things get done. Not necessarily faster, but people are happier.
They get done with ease.
Exactly. You're not as. Don't get me wrong. Work is work, and it'll always be stressful, no matter what kind of work it is. Yeah. But that takes the stress off of being miserable. Like, man, if I worked at a place where I hated everybody in my office, like I don't know what I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah. Quit.
But the fact that I walk in and like it's 9:30 in the morning, and I look at our buddy Mike that does photo and video for us, and I just stare at him, and he's just like, what do you want for lunch? You know, because he usually goes out and gets lunch. And I'm like, yo, what are we doing? What are we getting for lunch? Like, that's the big thing for us. I mean,
a typical day at First Manufacturing is, you know, I show up on time, 9 o'clock. Tim rolls in at like 10:45.
It's kind of like this podcast, right?
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Rolls in, bag of food.
I'm not saying that I roll in on time, but I'm usually like,
that's like a typical day.
I'm like a half, 15 to a half hour
and then
late.
Like 11:30 rolls around, he looks at everyone, what's for lunch, takes 3-hour lunch.
But the thing is, like, realistically, I go home and I get home at 6:15 every day. I'm still on my phone, answering messages, posting stuff on our stories, stuff like that. I'm up at 1 o'clock in the morning messaging people back on the Instagram and whatnot. On the Facebook.
Social media is a job in itself.
It's a full-time gig, and like even when I'm on vacation, it's not technically vacation. You know, I could be doing stuff, I could be on a beach and they're like, hey, we got to get this up. We got to post this.
Yeah.
And that's my job. And that's the job that I took. So, people don't realize how much time and effort goes into social media nowadays, because that's your marketing. That's your newspaper marketing.
I think that when brands start to understand how important it is and how to start to diversify your portfolio in different platforms, not just Instagram or not just Facebook or not just YouTube, but they need to realize that it can generate sales if you generate content.
Yes.
And that takes time and effort, and you usually got to have a video guy.
Yeah.
You got to have a guy that knows how to piece together content that's going to be engageable.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot to it.
There
and
is.
If you're trying to sell something, that's the free fucking place to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're here this weekend. This is a content trip.
Yeah.
We're here for fun. We're here to hang. We're here to see people that we only see, during these type of events for the year. But this is a content trip.
Exactly.
We're here at House of Harley to set up brand awareness, all that. But it's to get pictures of Flat Out Friday, get pictures of Mama Tried. Yeah. Get pictures with other people in the street. So you're getting a picture with us.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Man,
I wish I could get one of those jackets though.
You want?
Listen.
Hey, we got something in the van.
We got to figure something. I want to be a part of that.
Well, first of all, what size are you? You're an XL? XL or 2X?
I dabble between 2X and XL, depending on, usually jackets I'm a XL and shirts I'm a 2X.
Okay, so I'm usually in the same boat. Now the first stuff is a little bit tapered, like the club style stuff is a little bit tapered, so I do wear a 2X in the jackets as well. But as you probably saw, we came out with that custom jacket builder.
Yeah, that was a good thing coming.
The custom vest builder, we had a very basic form of it last year. And when I started working here in August of last year, I came in, I was just like, man, why aren't you guys doing the Nike ID aspect to this? Where you can see it. And everybody kind of turned around and were like, yo, we've been kind of talking about that. We've had that idea, but we don't really know how to go about it.
Yeah.
It started with, we had a very plain builder where you couldn't see anything. It was just, these are your options. It would give you like a little thumbnail, image, and this is what you hoped it would look like.
It was whack.
But it was the only thing, we were working with, sticks and rocks at that point.
What's crazy is that even though the builder itself at that point wasn't what it is today, and it was very primitive, we still killed it.
Yeah.
We were doing 100, 200, 300 vests a month at that point. So now when we launched the actual builder early on this year in March, people are like, oh, wow, I can actually see what this vest is going to look like, and it's modular. There's thousands of combinations.
Millions.
Exactly.
Millions.
And we took that, and we're now at the point where, like, okay, we have the Western style, the club style, the women's club style, and the SWAT vest. Where do we go after that?
We got 2 jackets.
And we're like, we have to do
Just
jackets.
released the most recent one 4 days ago.
Exactly. So we were like, hey, let's do these regular jackets, which they're modeled after our Raider jacket, which is our most popular jacket.
It's like a club style
It's a club style vest with sleeves, basically.
Yeah.
Obviously the fitment's a little bit different because it has the thermal liner and stuff like that. But
is it good for this?
It is. You got your action back.
You got to have. We need a term. Do you have a term for that? Like
action back.
Action back.
So
okay.
we call
Carhartt
it,
uses full swing.
Yeah, Carhartt uses full swing.
Okay, that makes sense.
We say action back. So when you lift up your arms
and your cuffs stay exactly where they are.
Basically, there's pleats on the back and panels
like
that allow you to fully extend your arms so that your sleeves don't ride up at all. They don't come up at all.
And when you go back, there's an elastic band on the inside of the jacket that whips it back into shape when your arms get relaxed. It's pretty cool. Our jackets have a lot of unique features of them.
Yeah.
And we wanted to push that forward in the jacket builder. So, we released the first version of the jacket builder about 2 weeks ago. And I do have to say, the guy that we have in-house, Mike, he's the photographer, editor guy. This is all his work. This is all by hand,
he
done
killed it,
in-house.
man. Basically,
every option that you see on the website is a real life photo. that he either edited for color or anything like that. So it's all real live photos that he edited, and that's why our first builder, you know, when Tim came back last year, we were already kind of working on this. We kind of modeled it off of like how car manufacturers do it.
Yeah. Like
with like Ford. Like you go on the Ford, you can go build a pickup, different color, change the bed length, all that shit. So that's kind of, that was a stepping stone for us. And, you know, we were figuring out how to do it, and our guy Mike said, I'm just going to take pictures and edit them and make it work. And it took him about a year.
Damn.
Non-stop working. Stop working on it a year. And
because you have to individually take pictures of all these different variations and options.
Yes.
Every
and
single
that's the thing. Like, you know, our sample room is pretty damn extensive now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Our sample room's bigger than this room.
Yeah, so we have, I mean, he's got, Pat probably has about 40 to 50 swatches of stitching patterns
styles
that we haven't even released yet, that we haven't even touched yet or put on the builder
for like the pattern type stitching styles.
You know, so like we're working right now, like we're working on like 2 or 3 patterns that
we can't say because people bite our shit hard
all the time, man. Like no joke, we'll release a stitch pattern, and then a month later you'll have somebody being like, oh, we have barbed wire stitch pattern.
We've been working on this for a year.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, guy, you literally took the same. Like, you took a picture of our shit. Yeah. And now, like, come on, man. You know,
we're not saying we're the most original people, because
we're not.
There are ideas that we have taken samples from, like the stitching that you're working on. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's original to what we're doing, but it's a pretty common image, pretty common design, but we're going to be one of the first people to put it in a vest, and we know that once we say what it is, it'll be out within a month with someone else.
Exactly.
It's
you know, and the cool thing,
just the way it is.
The cool thing about working at First and seeing those projects,
we have a lot of freedom with it.
Yeah, like seeing those projects being worked out, like seeing the final product. Seeing the final product of like what you put your hard work into, and then actually having a tangible product in front of you, and you're looking at it, you're feeling it, you're like, wow, like I designed this, or you know, he designed it, or I worked next to him while he was designing it. It was just one of those things that was primo. Yeah, you know,
I've always felt like a vest is kind of it's like a nostalgic thing. Like if you're a club guy or whatever, just a guy that puts a lot of miles in, that vest is that one thing that you typically have on, gaining those memories and experiences with. And so the ability to go in there and really kind of fine tune and customize a vest. I mean, I'm sure you get guys that might do a couple of them that, because they got to be matchy and shit like that.
A lot of those people.
But I feel like that one that after it's about 2 years, it's really broken in. It's been hot, cold, wet, fucking everything.
I got a jacket like that. It's nothing custom. It was the first jacket I bought when I started there 5 years ago. It's my favorite jacket.
This might be an off-topic question, but still on topic of denim. How much of that culture is there about people that are like denim nerds and things like that? You know what I mean?
It's pretty big on the East Coast. For real. If you catch my drift.
I was listening to a podcast with Rogan and somebody else, and he was talking about he has a denim collection.
Yeah.
So I never really knew anything about that. So is there like different types of denim that's like a more?
So check this out. I was in a band with a dude about 10 years ago. And he was really big into denim, big into jeans, like, and different types of denim, selvage denim, all that stuff. And I mean, he was buying $300 pairs of jeans because they're spun on certain looms, and they're spun a certain way, and they're dyed a certain way. Like, this is a guy that would take his jeans, run a hot bath, and then sit in that bath with his jeans on so that they formed better to his body. Wild shit.
That's extreme.
So sounds fun.
Like, that's what I'm saying. So like with any subculture, you're going to get those extremes. Realistically, with us at First Manufacturing, we offer a certain number of styles of denim. Like your charcoal denim or your indigo denim, and we have stuff like that. But realistically, we don't get those guys that are like, oh, well, is this salvage denim?
We get a few.
Is this conflict denim? Have they got one of those?
Yeah, some shit like that.
But like we kind of group everything with, well, at least I know I do, is either leather or textile.
Yeah.
And leather's leather. You got your different types of skins. You got your cow, your lamb, all that stuff, different stages, naked, diamond, stuff like that. But the textile, it's much more vast. So the textile, what we offer like canvas, which heavy, breaking over time. At first, it kind of feels like a heavy bag, but once it forms to you, it's awesome.
Yeah.
The different types of the denims. And then we got something new, twill, which is pretty much just a lightweight denim. It's super nice.
So it's just woven differently.
Yeah.
It feels very similar. But it's just woven differently. It's just like there's so many different factors that go into materials and making materials that I had no idea.
Yeah.
When you get into a production facility or you get into a manufacturing company, there's stuff that just completely blows your mind.
Yeah.
And that's the type of stuff where it's like, well, what's the difference between denim and twill?
I mean, now we're doing Kevlar weave denim.
We have
Kevlar patched pants that are denim or twill, and it depends on when you're riding. Like we'll test out our products between riding. Like the first set of pants that we had, which are York pants, they're heavy duty, heavy denim, heavy Kevlar. When I rode down from New York to Daytona in March, they were great. And then I brought a pair of black twill ones that have Kevlar. I brought them to Sturgis because they're much lighter, much more breathable. They were great for Sturgis for 100-degree days.
Those York jeans, I don't take off in the winter.
Nice.
It is literally the only pair of jeans that I wear in the winter.
And I feel like when you get to a certain age in your life where you definitely aren't a child body anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Which I kind of still am, but I'm okay with it.
Lucky. I feel like $300 for a really, really perfect pair of pants.
Yeah.
Like whatever that means, whether you had to get them tailor made.
Of course.
I'm not saying I can afford that, but I can justify it if
Yes. I can justify listen, you can sell me on the idea of why I would need something. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to buy it, But like, for example, there's guys that justify like, oh, I need a Ferrari. Realistically, nobody needs a Ferrari in my eyes, except if you're racing, that's way different.
Yeah.
But there's certain people that could justify that need to me, like saying, hey, listen, I run a sports car Instagram account, and I have 200,000 followers. If I have this car, it helps solidifies my brand. And I'm like, okay, so then it's more of a want, but I understand a need for it. Anything expensive, I can understand that. But as far as jeans go,
I mean, you get what you pay for it too.
Yeah.
It's like those $300 pair of jeans they're not just regular jeans. You know what I mean? Like you go pick up at like Walmart or whatever. These jeans it's a safety thing. And I always say that it's when I would do sales for First Manufacturing before we kind of formed this custom program, I always would say to customers that it's a safety company. Yeah. It's we're selling a safety product that, God forbid you ever go down, this leather or whatever material is going to act like a second skin. God forbid you go down, the whole the saying, dress for the slide, not for the ride, all that, whatever. But I mean, in a sense, it is kind of true. God forbid you go down, those Kevlar jeans, that leather jacket, those leather gloves, it's going to save your skin.
Yeah.
And we get constant, and I know Tim does, I get some of the emails.
All the time.
Is that we'll get pictures of destroyed vests. Like, you can't even tell it's a vest anymore, with a whole kind of testimony saying, this product saved my husband's life, or saved my husband's skin, or whatever it may be. This guy with the phone never puts his phone down.
Hey, listen.
Ever.
That's my job.
Never puts his phone down. But
Make it weird.
God, I hate social media.
I hate it too, but it's a necessary evil. Yeah.
So the reason why I like it is because it's a puzzle to me.
You got a job out of it.
Well, no. Listen, before I actually had a job doing it, or now multiple jobs doing it, I gravitated towards it because for me, those algorithms, what is going to get that engagement, what's going to get the likes, what's going to get the shares, all that stuff, what makes something go viral, it was always a puzzle to me. So for me, like I wasn't necessarily the biggest math kid. I didn't love math, but I enjoyed it because I like figuring things out. I like the steps it takes to figure out the problem. Because once you solve it, like that satisfaction and that gratification that I get from solving that issue or that problem, dude, I'm a guy through and through. Like you throw a problem at me, you throw a bunch of tangled wires at me. Yeah, it'll take me 20 hours to figure out, but I'm gonna figure that motherfucker out.
I will. I mean, the social media thing is like you said, a necessary evil. But it's there's so much benefits from it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Friendships.
Oh yeah,
friendships,
absolutely.
Connections and things like that. But those times in between the great times where it's like, I feel dirty posting this picture right now.
Yeah.
Why am I putting this out there? It's not important right now. You know what I mean? It's not relevant.
Well, that's that.
Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, Flashback
exactly.
Friday.
You always want to stay. You always want to stay relevant, and I understand that. And you're like, man, like do I want to post this? Do I really not want to post this? Blah 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 blah. For me, I tend to go for the more fun. Yeah. More fun posts. That's why, like, on my personal Instagram, if you go to my stories, it's 90% memes. It's just me shit posting because I'm like, I think this is funny. Somebody else might think it's funny. Like today, this morning, the first thing that I put up was a picture of a raccoon dressed up like Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man. I think that's hilarious.
It's dumb.
And that made me laugh super hard. I'm gonna look. And if I can help bring that same joy that I felt looking at that photo, if I can, even make one or two people happy and they're like, yo, that's hilarious, I did my job.
And one of the reasons why I don't like it?
Why?
It is one of the reasons why I don't like it. And Jace might have been there in Texas with me to kind of experience it. So we were at the Revzilla Get On Moto Fest. It's a cool show. And you laughing as
That's what I'm saying. Dumb. That's what I'm saying.
But I don't know if I would laugh at it if I was scrolling through. I'm like, what the fuck is this? But because of the story, it makes sense.
Of course.
What were you saying?
So then this is one of the reasons why I don't like social media. I know about the positives. I love the positives. Probably the only reason why I still have is social media. But those kind of extreme measures that people take to get big in the social media world. Yeah. I can't say I 100% agree with it, but like when we were at the Revzilla Get On Moto Fest, there were a lot of influences there, which is great. I think companies need influencers. We have them. They serve a purpose. It's absolutely phenomenal. We know a lot of them personally. That's great. There was another section at the Revzilla Get On Moto Fest was that they had builders there. These hand craftsmen's, that were, they're master of their trade, phenomenal welders, phenomenal metal workers, phenomenal machinists, and no one gave a fuck who they were. No one cared. But there were lines for 300 feet just to get a picture with this influencer. Yeah. That, he's on some Goldwing or whatever, and, he's doing a live review of some product, which is great. It's great for the company. Yeah. I'd be thrilled if that was for us, but I'm like, where's there a line that's getting drawn where it's, these dudes had real talent, and I'm not saying that it's not a talent knowing how to work around the social media. I'm not saying that. I don't know, maybe it's because I can't do it. Maybe there's a little resentment on that. But
what you're saying is 100% true, and we've actually talked about that too early podcast days, like 2018, and I always made a reference like, when did T-shirt companies get more famous than bike builders in this industry? Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that as a jab on either side, but it's just I think what happened is that hand craftsmen that make time consuming projects like building something, a bike, a car. It takes time. You can't make 40. You can make 40 wallets in a week, maybe.
Sure.
By hand.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You might do 40 in 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so the content thing becomes kind of scattered out. And if you're not some real big social media guy because you're more of a welder or a craftsman in that nature, you're not seeing the artistic part of this project and how to show the world this to keep you relevant on social media. And it's an unfortunate truth, but at the same time, like that's going to be I don't want to say the death of those people because they're always going to be there. But these other people that are playing this game, that is the game of life now.
Yeah, they're staying relevant.
They're going to continue to grow and become the new people of what the motorcycle industry is based out of. You know, I mean, back in the day, we were watching, Billy Lane, build shit over their knees, and Indian Larry do wild shit. Not anymore. I mean, we have our Rusty Butcher still and our stunt guys who are also still doing big things, but they're not really builders.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's we're pretty close with a lot of younger builders, which is one of our very close friends. He's a phenomenal builder. He's younger, 30s, and he's getting accepted by a lot of these older, well-known builders, and we're getting to know these people. People that we've looked up to. Being kids watching Orange County Choppers and watching all these biker build-offs that were like, now we know these people. Yeah, and that's the positives, and that's some of the things I love about this industry, is that we came up looking up to these people. Yeah. And it's now, we're talking to them nonstop. Yeah. That's like someone that's like a 13-year-old right now that loves Dynas, FXRs, performance baggers, listening to your podcast every new episode, which is great. And then one day, when your podcast is so big and you have these huge names on it, this 12-year-old that's now 20 in the industry, he comes on this podcast because he did something relevant. Yeah. Or he works for this company. That just made that kid's whole life. It's that, he looked up to you, and now he's on this podcast that he knows inside and out. His first thing he hears in the morning is, guys ready to let the dogs out? You know what I mean? So that's I mean, it's happened to me, like being able to sit down with some of the individuals that I looked up to when I first got in this industry and things like that. But man, it's just a hard game. It's a hard swallow because our industry is still pretty much owned by an older generation. Yeah. Right? Yes. Our generation. Our generation is embracing all these different avenues of what is the motorcycle industry and scene now. And, we're fucking with everybody. We're at Sturgis partying with everybody. Yeah, it don't matter. Old, young, everything. It's like we're more inclusive in our world now versus the other one. It's like there was a more prestigious, builder, relevant guy, no clowns, no shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I also think that, back in the day it was a little bit more rough around the edges in the motorcycle scene.
They weren't as accepted.
The bikers these are the bikers that we all grew up on looking at and being like, oh, like, I don't want to fuck with that dude. Yeah. Now it's a little bit different because it's more accessible, and that's just with anything. It's the same thing in the metal world. Like, you're getting, Demi Lovato going on late night talk shows talking about metal bands and stuff like that. So like it's more mainstream, and the same thing in the motorcycle scene. But I think back in the day, it was just, I don't know, like I feel like it was just, like I said, it was more rough around the edges. And now, because of how it is now, like everybody just wants to hang out with each other and have a good time and party. Like there's no like, oh, fuck you, this, that. There's still that, but I feel like it's not as bad as it used to be back in the day.
I feel like what it became is all those hard ass, like if you take a picture of a bunch of dudes looking like real bikers, it usually has a thing that says like loyalty or lone wolf above it. Yeah. And it's a Facebook meme for some dude that doesn't know how to speak for himself.
Yep.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I can agree with that.
But then we I don't really identify with that kind of boomer thing, but this whole party, have fun, be, just a good time, like that's way more ideal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
What do you want, Mark?
Get my jacket.
Oh my God!
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
This fucking guy.
He's got the best hair in Wisconsin.
Jesus, get the fuck out. Yeah, it's. I feel like those cheesy things that were cool back in the day. Like, listen, don't get me wrong. Skulls will never go out.
Yeah.
The skulls are always going to be cool, no matter what. It'll take different shapes and different forms, but like, listen, man, guys are always going to have skulls on their fucking bikes and stuff like
flames.
that. Skulls, flames, all that stuff. But yeah, I feel like, you know, the stuff being sold, and even at the rallies nowadays, I'm seeing more stuff that's geared towards your 30-year-olds and your 40-year-olds, as opposed to, you know, your 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds, like the stuff that was cool back in the 90s. Like, you know, they were in their 30s back. Yeah, exactly. They were in their 30s and 40s back then. Like, you know, those were the cool things for them. You know, now you're getting guys that are in their 30s that are spending $30,000 on their bikes, but they don't look fucking cheesy. You know, like, think about it. Back in 2001, you know, a guy would spend 80 grand on his bike and it would look like the biggest cornball shit in the world. You got tribal flames, you know, 10 up, 10 out, stretched fucking big wheel, you know, choppers and all this shit.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's like, you know, guys are putting, say, 20,000 or 30,000 into their bikes that they bought stock from the dealership, but they're going for things that make it ride better.
Well,
they're going for the performance
different trend
thing.
now.
Exactly.
It's a lot of performance based. I mean, I kind of went backwards with it. Like, you know, I started with more performance machines and kind of went backwards. I still got the performance machines, but now it's like all I want to do is just ride my chopper.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, it's not.
But your chopper's not a big billet.
No, it's
Man.
super New York style.
It's
like,
it's
the
that's
city
thing.
jammer kind of.
Oh,
yeah, it's
yeah,
a New York.
yeah.
It's a New York tough guy bike.
Yeah.
you
yeah,
know?
and that's, you know, that's what I, you know, yeah, I'll hop on the FXR all day and scrape pipe, but it's like the 30-year-olds now, or, you know, that type of demographic of the younger up and coming people that are spending the money, they're all performance based. You know, everybody wants to do T-bars 2-into-1 with Olins.
Yeah.
Everybody. That's the market right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you still got those few outlying groups that are building their shit, you know, with frame jigs, and they, you know, that's their craftsman, you know, that's their craft, and they love it, and I'm all about it, and we deal with all of those people.
You know what's funny? There's this like a very backwards thinking situation. I was somewhere, I can't remember what event I was at, but someone was telling me like, yeah, man, we just don't have this where we're from, like, and everybody's kind of scared to be the one to put it on it because all the other demographic of bikers we ride with would make fun of us for copying what's being done on the internet. I was like, so they want you to copy what they're doing?
Yeah,
Like,
nobody's original.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody's fucking original. Everybody looks, especially with bike builds, everybody looks for inspiration.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's guys that are setting themselves apart from the rest that are absolutely insane visionaries when it comes to motorcycles and choppers and stuff like that. But you're still taking inspiration from, you know, the guys like
Generations
guys
before,
40 years ago. You know, you get guys like, I mean, one person that pops into my mind is, was it Hawk from Vintage Technologies?
Yeah.
He, as far as a bike builder, he is one of the absolute most insane bike builders in the world. The things that he thinks of, just blow my fucking mind. But even him, he's still looking back at the early godfathers of choppers, seeing what they were doing and being like, man, like, this was cool.
I like the way this stance
I love
is,
the way the
like
stance is. I love the way these wheels
And they're
look.
putting their own twist
let
on
me
it.
go, you know, let me take that inspiration, swap it up a little bit, and make it my own.
I mean, when
you know?
when I saw CT Newman's bike,
the ULH.
congregation,
Yeah,
oh my God, you ever see
I
that
still
bike?
haven't seen it in person.
haven't seen it in person.
It blew my mind.
It's at Mama Try.
It literally blew my mind. But it's he, you know, I'm not speaking for him by any means, but it's, you know, that old style, that old inspiration, and he put his own twist on it and absolutely knocked it out of the water with the twin turbo, and it's just, it's literally a piece of art at this point. And you know, in my eyes, motorcycles, it's a lifestyle, it's a form of transportation, it's art. it's literally everything that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's why it's
an identity for a lot of people too.
It
I would
is.
say it is for me.
you know, it's you know, I wake up, bikes during the day.
Yeah.
It's, you know, making vests for people who ride bikes. Go home, work on my own bikes. You know, help Tim work on his bikes. Go to the shop, do something with bikes. So
Yeah.
it's you know, I'm worried it's going to come to an end soon.
Yeah, it's
You know?
it's cool because, you know, when I was growing up, like when you're young, you're always looking for your niche. You're always looking for your little subgroup to hang out with and, you know, see where you fit
tribe,
in the world.
yeah.
Exactly. You know, and I was lucky enough at an early age to find the music thing.
Yeah.
And that's where I fit in real well, you know. But even after that, you know, I got into the sneaker thing for a long time, and I was into the streetwear, you know, thing for a while.
Is that
And
when
I-
you were doing the like Kanye things?
that was high school. That was high school. I wasn't even into sneakers at that point. That was funny. That's a good story too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I got into the sneaker thing for a while, and I was just like, man, like I love this, but it's kind of weird. Like I don't feel like I fully fit into this. And you know, my dad's been into bikes forever, just like Pat's dad. You know, and I'm sitting there one day, and he's
On a
outside.
fucking parade down there.
Yeah.
Dude, I know this. 8
We
million
get it.
bikes.
It starts.
Yeah.
They would think it's a carbureted bike, just keep giving it gas.
Oh, they kept turning over bikes the other day just in the showroom. This guy was walking around to all these bikes, and the sales dude was just like, "You want to hear it?" Boom, started up. There was like 20 bikes, and he started. I'm like, "What the
Dude,
fuck?"
all those new,
Yeah,
all
right?
those new Tic Tac videos of everyone's like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." Hell yeah,
you know.
brother.
But yeah, once I got into the motorcycle thing, like I felt like I identified with that scene a little bit more, and I enjoyed meeting friends, and that's the cool part about it. Is
The thing
meeting
about the
people.
motorcycle scene is it's a collective of like the music guys,
Yes.
some fashionados, photographers,
Yes. Yeah, it's true.
different types of artists of all kinds that kind of come into this melting pot of everything to be on a motorcycle for that experience.
Yes.
And the groups of people that get put together because of motorcycles is always phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just wild. Like I always say this, but I remember being a kid, and the first time I went and met up with a group of bikers, I'm a little punk ass kid that wet sands cars, hanging out with a doctor, another high professional dude over here, blah blah blah, and it's like because I have a bike, I got to sit down with people that if they were in fucking, I would never get that opportunity.
Of course,
you know what I'm saying?
of course.
Bikes bring a lot of people together.
They bring people together from all aspects, and that's the cool. That's that cool barrier breaker.
Yeah.
You know, realistically, like you said, like I'd never in my life probably, you know, sit down and be I'm not saying I wouldn't, but like, you know, realistically, like I don't know any doctors.
Yeah.
Like I'm not friends with any doctors.
I'm trying to meet some now, dude. Fuck.
Exactly. But like for now, I mean, the more I get older, the more I'm like, hey man, like I got this thing in my leg. Like, can you check
look
it out?
at this real quick?
Yeah.
Pull your nuts out real quick, bro. Seriously,
why can't I walk right?
right.
Why is my knee hurt?
Yeah.
You know, well, it's like, I mean, you know, Pat's wife is a nurse, and you know, every now and again, I'll ask her. I'll be like, hey, what's this? You know, because
Listen to my knee right quick when it bends and opens, it cracks. Can you figure that out?
What is that?
You got a loose rod in there or something? What's going on?
She's a good sport though. She's like, you're dying.
Yeah,
So.
she's great.
She just hits you with the.
That
I don't
look
know,
good.
man.
That don't look
You're
good.
like, you know what? Take me sooner. Fuck
You
it.
know, but like the groups, and that's the thing that I enjoy most about the motorcycle industry. Isn't the riding, which is up there. It isn't the bikes itself, which is also up there. It's literally meeting the people.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's would I have met as many people if I wasn't working for First? Possibly, because I've been into bikes, for however as long. But it has helped form a bridge to other companies.
Yeah.
Of course.
You know, like I probably would have met Mark from Lexington.
Yeah.
If I wasn't working for First, maybe. I mean, he's a Long Island kid. He kind of abandoned us, but you know, he's playing GI Joe somewhere.
Yeah.
But would I have met them without being part of this industry?
You know what the unique
knows?
thing is, like with like your relationship with Lex and even ours, even though we have a much larger landmass between us.
Mm-hmm.
our generation, if you will, of bikers and industry people, we're all kind of starting to click up because we're all kind of friends and homies and stuff, and then the cross collaborations and all the different types of things. It's what I feel like probably was the same thing that they were doing back in the day with, biker build outs. Like a lot of the brands were friends and hung out, and we're doing the same thing. We're just kind of doing it with ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I tell Tim all the time, like there's not a lot of people that aren't cool in the industry. All right. Did I say that right? I mean, you got those few people that are kind of dicks and that we don't really fuck with.
They don't stick around. Let's put it like that. You know what I mean?
That people realize, the real lies, if that makes sense. As corny of a chick tattoo
Tupac.
that is. That's what I'm saying.
It's when you in any, like I said, in any subculture, any group of friends, like you'll realize the people that are culture vultures, the people that are looking for a quick buck, the people that are looking to use and drain what people have built as a community, and then there's other people that see past that small group of people and see what the community is all about and be like, I'm here to stick around and I'm here for the long haul. Yeah. Because realistically, this is our life. This isn't just a fad. I'm going to be riding motorcycles. If my body allows it, I will be riding motorcycles into my 70s.
And that's the hope.
80s, hopefully.
The had a point to make right there that was it's gone.
Okay, it's gone. It'll come back.
It happens.
It'll come back. But I mean, did you get it?
I did, but I forgot it.
Motherfucker.
You're the worst.
like the thing with First Manufacturing, it's so me and Tim kind of, unofficially became the face of the company, which I know we both didn't want. I know I didn't want.
Neither of us really.
We didn't want to do it, so we're kind of sharing that, position with a few other people that work for the company. But when we started that, once it started getting public that, we are the face of this company, there were people coming out of the woodwork saying, these guys just work for this company. Yeah. It's a comfy 9-to-5 job in a comfy office, and they just, those bikes aren't theirs. Yeah. And then, we kind of, we took offense to it. Yeah. It's not going to bother us, but we're like, these people have no idea who they are, who we are. Not saying that we're anybody to be special, but it's like, we've put in our time. We put in due diligence. It's, we took this job because it's part of the industry. Yeah, and
you really reshaped it too.
We did.
You reshaped the brand image, and the way the brand's perceived to the public. And I think what I was trying to say about it a while ago, and I partially got back my idea, but it was that when you get to a certain level in this industry, like being an industry guy, like working in it, you start making enough money where you can't really replace it in the actual workforce.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
In a way that you could be okay with yourself mentally. You know what I mean?
Even if you could replace it with the money and all that, I think mental health is a huge part of your job. You know, you go to work happy. There are bad days. Tim's seen me on my worst days in the office.
Of course, we both have.
I'm throwing shit around.
You're a thrower.
I'll throw stuff, but nothing big. Like I'll throw paper clips at him if Tim says something stupid. He's on the other side of the room. I'll fucking flail.
Yeah, he throws paper clips all day.
All day. I'll hit him right in the eye. That's why I wear an eye patch for a little bit. But it's you can't replace that, or at least I don't think I could replace that with a job where, let's say, it's the same amount of money, all that bullshit, which is great, but I'm not going to be happy. Yeah. I'm going to be wearing a suit and tie, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I went to school to be a fucking dentist. As weird as that is. Yeah. It's, I went to school, I went to a very good university on the island, and, I was pursuing it, and then I'm like, I couldn't do this forever. Yeah. So right after graduation, I went and got a job at Harley.
I think it was Gary Vee that said, everybody's looking for that $1 million idea. Yeah. Right? Everybody's looking for that $1 million idea. But nobody's looking for that $70,000 idea. Yeah. If you're at a job and you're making $70,000 a year and it's a good job and you fucking hate yourself, would you not trade that for the same amount of money, but to be the happiest person that you've ever been, you know? So like realistically, like, I mean, it's all about, I guess, yeah, like the money helps, but I'd much rather work at a place where much rather take less money and work at a place that I thoroughly enjoy. You know, and I think 90% of people are like that.
Well, I think people would have to first look at their finances and figure out
Sure.
how much of their life are they buying these things or having these monthly payments or living at this certain level out of boredom.
Yeah.
You know, oh fuck, I need another TV, or nah, this truck's 2 years old, let me get a new one.
Yeah.
And so when you get to a point where you can make those sacrifices and keep your income or your expenses down low enough,
your cost of living.
you know, and
shit,
you
man,
don't
we're
want
from New York. Expenses are always high.
Yeah, you don't want to get a job. I mean, I do believe in happiness as far as like following, you know, a job that fulfills a purpose and you get to problem solve is something that's going to challenge you mentally and make you feel valuable within a company.
Of course.
But also there's also that deal. It's like, it's not quit your good job that's taking care of you and your family and go work at Harley and make, you know, $15 an hour.
Yeah.
And not have extra time
Yeah.
to be able to pursue any real passion projects or dreams
I
or
agree.
take care of your family.
I agree.
But, you know, sometimes I feel like people just need to make better use of their off time to pursue ideas and dreams.
Of course.
And, I mean, there's so many dudes that used to listen to this podcast because they'd, like, show the TV at night when they're in their garage after work, pinstriping, trying to practice, do these things. That's fucking rad.
Yeah.
You know, take the free time you have and make it useful.
I mean, that's what
You
we're
know?
doing in our free time. And I can tell you that, you know, pretty much about 75% of mine and Tim's free time we're together, which is super weird to say.
Yeah.
But we're not lovers or anything.
Maybe
Maybe a little bit. But it's you know, we're doing something bike related.
Yeah.
Whether we're even sitting in the garage watching fucking hockey.
Yeah.
But we're looking
we're
at
still working on bikes.
We're still
like,
looking
hey,
at the
check
bike,
this out, you know.
thinking about what we could change on it, what we can do differently to it. You know, I mean, Tim's got 8 projects lined up.
It sucks.
You know,
it sucks.
He's got 8 projects. I don't know when they'll ever get done.
Never.
Whenever I decide to finish them. But it's we always got something going on. I mean, if you're into bikes and you didn't just go buy, you know, a brand new, you know, Street Glide or whatever, and you're about this and you like tinkering and stuff, more than likely you got a project at home. Whether even it's a little Sportster, or it's, you know, you want to eventually get your son into this, you know, so you just picked up, you know, a mid-90s 1200 Sporty that you want to put together with him. You know, I mean, that's how I started.
Yeah.
You know, I was left an iron head in crates.
I mean,
I
have too many projects as it is.
Yeah.
And I'm about to buy another project from the basement of this dealership.
Yeah. I heard the story.
You know, it's like, you know, but again, going back to the quality of life and the cost of living and all that stuff, like, you know, I've been thinking, like, for the last year or so, I'm like, you know what, like, you know, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna grab a new car, blah 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 blah, and then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, would I rather spend a couple $100s a month on a car payment, or would I rather just save up the $5,000 and go buy an El Camino? Like, go buy like an 85 El Camino.
You can find one for $5,000. Good luck.
Oh, dude, they're 80s El Caminos all over the place,
Swear
like the
body.
box ones. But then you put the Monte Carlo, or the you know, you put the Monte Carlo nose.
Okay,
on
yeah.
those. Oh,
Well,
they look so good.
I was always that way too, because this is the first year I've ever purchased like a air quotes new-ish car.
Yeah.
And I would always do like the $5,000 to $7,000 range used car, get about 4 or 5 years out of it, and then do it again. But there was always this like, I'm driving a car with like 150,000 miles on it, the transmission go any moment, blah blah blah, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy a fucking car.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd rather spend $400 a month, you know, to have some peace of mind knowing that this thing can handle everything I need to do and I don't have to worry about it every day.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, and it's been a great thing, but I didn't go buy, you know, I didn't go buy a new dually. I didn't go
Of
buy
course.
a $100,000, $80,000
Yeah.
vehicle.
Yeah.
You
I
don't
bought
need to.
something practical,
Dude,
that has a warranty, and that's the great thing.
people look at
Warranty's
me.
awesome.
People look at me crazy
Yeah.
when I turn around,
Don't say it.
and I'm just like, you know what, man? I want a RAV4. Dude, I'm telling you, the new
Get a pickup. Your bikes don't run.
The new
Yeah,
RAV4s are sick. They're great cars.
You met Kyle, right? Jive Ass Honky Kyle.
Oh yeah,
You met him?
funny.
Yeah.
I feel because when we first met Kyle, right? He comes to bike night one night. He didn't his bike. He didn't get a chance to get home to get it for bike night, so he just drove his car up there.
Yeah.
This motherfucker pulls up in a smart car.
Oh my
And
God.
Kyle,
That's awesome.
He's the most metalhead. He's part of the Pit Bulls in Dallas. Legendary fucking what are they fucking the mosh pit guys?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And just fucking gnarly ass mane mullet going on, beard with just like you got it all fucking done. And it's like I expect nothing less.
Yes.
It's like the confidence level of him getting out of that car with some just. I'm like, I'd fuck that dude, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. And like, and it's that level of being happy with yourself to the point where you're like, man, don't get me wrong. Do I think it would be cool if I rocked up in a brand new Silverado, lowered, like super cool, like that's fine. But status for me, like I'd rather go buy a $2,500 shovel head and like ride around. Like that's cooler to me than, even though it breaks down every fucking time we ride, that's cooler to me than a brand new pickup truck.
Well, there's the difference too between, at least in ours, I know in the car culture, it's way different.
Yeah.
They won't give a fuck what kind of bike they got as long as they're fucking, their car is legit.
Of course.
But, in our little neck of the woods, it's, cars, they serve a purpose as transportation.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yes. I don't need the status through my car because I have the status through my bike.
I mean, I love my cars.
I got cool bikes.
You guys are a little bit out
about
on Long Island, but if you lived in Brooklyn or something closer to the city, then why would you even want a car?
Well, yeah. We need a car. We can't take the train everywhere.
It's different. Like if I lived in Brooklyn or something like that, like I really wouldn't need a car because I could get around by train. Even though it's a little annoying, like New York City subway is annoying as fuck to navigate.
Yeah.
But I really wouldn't need a car. That would be a luxury at that point. On Long Island, you need a car.
Yeah.
Like I drive. I mean, we're working 15 miles from my house.
Yeah.
It takes me 45 minutes to get there in the
It
morning.
sucks.
If I took a train, I would have to train all the way into Jamaica, into Queens, and then take the train back out to Oceanside. So you're going all the way to Queens, and then you're coming back like a third of the way onto Long Island because it's so far south.
And what's funny is that 45-minute commute in the truck is cut in half when we ride.
Yeah. 100. It's definitely cut in half.
I mean,
I remember we had pulled, so we were staying, when we went to New York in June, we stayed right there at the Queensboro Bridge. There was a hotel right there, pretty nice when they were doing some parties and shit. We had just got in, I think the Lincoln Tunnel goes from Newark
to
the city.
You have
To
the
the
Lincoln
city.
and the Holland Tunnel.
So we went through the Lincoln, and as soon as we got onto Manhattan Island,
Manhattan Island.
Is that what
New
it
York
is?
City.
Manhattan
We call it New York City.
Okay.
It's the city.
So like realistically, all of the 5 boroughs is technically New York City.
Okay.
But we as New Yorkers and like people in the tri-state area call Manhattan the city.
Okay.
You refer to every borough, but you don't really say Manhattan.
Okay.
Like, like rich fucking uppity motherfuckers, they're like, I'm from Manhattan.
Okay.
It's like, like
Well,
we're like, nah,
Manhattan was with clam chowder. That's
yeah,
it.
we're like, fuck you, you're from the city.
Well, as soon as we got onto the city,
There you go.
we put in the hotel address, and of course we were just kind of had to jump through to get onto the Queensboro Bridge and go across. An hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a mile and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the city. That's the city.
It gets real bad. Like, and if you're not splitting or anything like that, that's why, like, man, the first couple times that I rode into the city to go to the Indian Larry bike nights and stuff like that, like, and the way that those guys ride, and those a lot of those guys like taught me, how to navigate better, and how to ride a little bit better.
I mean, whenever we get people from out of town, it's, we always have some type of loaner bike around, whether it's my bagger or if someone wants to hop on the FXR or whatever. We always have multiple bikes around.
Yeah.
So when you come to New York, you want to ride,
Yeah.
whatever,
Make it happen.
Pick whatever one you want. I don't care. But it's we're like, all right, do you want the real New York experience, or do you want to fucking go right out east on a straight fucking line?
It's different.
They're always gung ho and be like, let's go to the city. I'm like,
all right, we're like, keep up.
Keep up.
And that's the thing. Like that riding with certain groups of guys in New York City turns boys to men.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious, because here's the thing. The first time that I rode with those dudes in the city, we left Times Square.
What were you on?
I want to say I was on my Shovel FXR.
What was I on? I was on the Chop, I think.
No, you didn't have the Chop at this point. I'm talking like 2015.
It might have been the FXR. Or whatever.
It might have been either the FXR. You might have been on the Iron.
Maybe.
But we were going downtown, and we were going to a Mexican restaurant that Bobby from Indian Larry and John the Painter, they all knew. And man, when I tell you, we left, and they looked at us, and they were like, "Listen, here's the deal. You don't stop." From where we are in Times Square, it was maybe like 30, 40 blocks.
Yeah.
Right? Now, normally it'd take you 15 minutes if you were abiding by said rules. 3.5 minutes tops of
Don't
us.
stop.
Yo, I'm talking riding sidewalks, splitting lanes, jumping out, like literally
Cops trying to
swerving
jump
out of the
out.
way from cops trying to grab you off your bikes.
It's like your
And
hood ride.
Exactly. It is.
Well, that's how it was when
it's
we
ridiculous.
went to the block party. We rode with Danny D.
Exactly.
The mayor. That's cool.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and dude.
Danny D, NYC, Detroit, Florida.
Yeah, Detroit. He did move to Florida, didn't
Yeah.
He went to Florida.
he? We met him at a McDonald's in Queens, I believe. Right?
Makes
There's-
sense.
Yep.
He's a Queens guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, he's Queens.
So we did that, and then he just kind of he just said, "Hey, look, keep up."
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
And I had just finished, or I just left here and went with the new 131 and finally hit the 1,000-mile mark, which I don't, who knows if you need to break them in or not. Either way,
Yeah.
it's fucking wild. We went through like docking yards,
Oh, yeah.
sidewalks down the wrong way on a one-way,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like,
Yep.
this
Yep.
is fucking Wild West. I love
That's
it.
Dude.
You know
That's
what I mean?
it. It's the Wild East, dude.
Check
Yeah,
this
the
out.
Wild East.
Check this out. I went in 2016. I had a Shovelhead FXR. I had a 98-inch shovel in a 82 FXR frame, and I rode that on the Tail of the Dragon like a week before.
Yeah.
I went on a hot bike tour, hung out with Jeff and all that stuff, a bunch of the boys, and then came home. And I got home on like a Tuesday, and then that Thursday they did bike night in the city. I was like, I'm gonna ride in, blah 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 blah. I get into the city. We do this absolutely insane ride. They're like, hey, listen, we're going back to Brooklyn because they were doing like the motorcycle film fest.
You remember that?
And I was like, all right, cool, no problem. And it was me, I think it was me, Frank Hardrider, and Peter Guns. And we were doing about $110, $120 over the Williamsburg Bridge. We get to the gutter, which is the place where they held the film festival.
Right
And-
around the block from the block
From the block
party.
party. And I'm sitting there and I'm about to start my bike to go home, and it wouldn't start. I'm like, that's weird. It's real weird. Finally get it started, thanks to Sal. And I'm halfway home. I'm on the Southern State, and I lose power. My headlight's fine. My taillight's fine. I'm looking. I'm cranking the throttle, nothing. I look down, and my carburetor's hanging off. My carburetor straight fell off.
Wow.
I cracked the manifold. I cracked the bolts. I cracked the hose clamps. Literally cracked through
Wow.
because I was running this shovel and this FXR so fucking hard.
That's why shovelheads don't belong in FXRs.
Listen, I'm just saying. But that's how like these dudes ride hard.
Yeah.
Every day.
You know,
One of the guys up there,
we don't
was
baby our
saying,
bikes.
actually at Clem's Speed Shop, he was telling me on the podcast that we did together. He was like,
Brian.
these guys from New York are some of the best riders you would ever
And no one knows
guess.
about it.
And because of the obstacles and the quick decision making that they have to do
your
riding.
brain works different.
So
Yeah.
that's how, a little backstory real quick is, so I started out on an old Ironhead. Built it in my backyard. It was left to me in crates. you know, when I was 7 years old. Whatever. Built it up. It was slow. It was cool. Started working at Harley. Met up with some of those dudes there. All had, you know, hot Dynas, hot FXRs. They started inviting me out, you know, pretty regularly on Tuesday nights. So I was like, man, I can't keep doing this on a fucking Ironhead. Got my FXR. One of those guys being Danny. You know, Danny always has to have the best of the best, fastest, which he does.
Yeah.
You know, when riding with these dudes, you know, it was every Tuesday. It was either us from the island going into the city or the city guys coming out to us. Rain, shine, snow, it didn't matter. We were riding on Tuesday night, and that really honed in riding skills. So, like those guys that Brian was talking about, which I know exactly he's talking about. He's talking about Scotty, and he's talking about Cheech.
Yep.
You know, these are the best riders that I know, and probably one of the, you know, they're probably one of the best riders out there. And these guys taught me how to ride and how to ride good in that type of city riding. You know, I would invite Tim out, you know.
And I'd never go.
He'd never go.
You know, the same thing we were talking about, like the builders and the people that just don't get the recognition.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
guys
them.
like Scotty, this dude's smash miles all over the country, has
From
a
here
sick-ass
to
FXR.
Washington,
Yep.
it's
It's guys like that I wish he was more of a social media guy, but I know it's just not him.
He's not
you
him.
know?
It's
Of
not him.
course, there's guys that I know, and this is across every platform, every subculture, every genre of music. There's guys that run circles around other people in their categories.
Yeah.
But because they're not social media guys, they're not being seen.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
there's no joke, there's probably some guy in upstate New York that is one of the best painters in the world. And you'd never know it because he just hangs out at his shop. He's in his fucking late 50s, early 60s, don't give a fuck about social media.
Yeah.
And he's just been doing it forever, does what he wants.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, like my dad got his shovel head rebuilt in 2008, right? He got it stroked out, put up to a 93 inch, right, from an 80. That motor has not leaked once.
Damn.
That motor has not leaked once since 2008.
That's 'cause you're
and I
riding it.
ride that fucking thing.
You don't
Listen,
break 50.
bullshit. But I ride that fucking thing. And it's just because the guy that built the motor
Yeah.
does good work.
Yeah.
You know, like that place, East Coast Superbikes, they've been doing Harley shit since the 70s and building crazy bikes since the 70s. But you'd never know it because they're not social media guys. Like Long Island, they have like a little thing on Long Island and they get their recognition. But like there's motor builders all over the country and all over the world that you'd never know because they're in the scene, but they're not the guys to know.
What's like the population on just Long Island?
Just Nassau and Suffolk County, I'm talking, you got to be like 800,000.
That's it? I would feel there'd be way more than that.
I would think.
I'll
'Cause I feel like
I'll look
most
it
people
up.
live outside of the city and then go into it.
I mean, once you get really like, so we're from Suffolk County.
Yeah.
When you get kind of past where I am, dude, we got farms and shit. We got farms
Yeah.
and wineries and vineyards and all that shit. You know, closer to the city, you got Nassau, where we work, and it gets more urban. And then once you hit Queens, it's just people on top of each other.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, from the tip Montauk to Manhattan, that whole stretch, it just gets from farms and
Yeah,
vineyards.
we rode up and hit the ferry at Orient Point.
Yeah, North Shore. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
Connecticut.
I am very wrong.
Yeah, it's got to be a few million.
It's between Nassau and Suffolk County just alone. You're talking
I'm
about
gonna say 7 million.
No, you're talking about 3 million people.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, it's
roughly
it's like 2.9.
Yeah, that's a lot, man.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
and you're talking
And
about
it's a
an
small
island
space.
You're talking about an island that's 20 miles high, and I
100.
think maybe 100
100?
from end of Suffolk County, from Elmont, or like from Montauk end of Suffolk County to say Elmont, which is border Nassau Queens. You're talking about 100 miles.
Yeah.
So realistically,
Riding
three million
sucks,
people.
Riding's
You could
horrible.
literally, that's enough people, which then if you were to kind of like do like a deep dive, that's probably at least maybe 500 to 200,000 bikers in the Harley scene. Because it's usually 3% of the population.
I'd say that.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah,
I'd say that.
Not like you have a bike night and you're gonna have 500,000 people out there.
No shit.
You know, there's probably that many registered motorcycle owners.
I'd say that.
Things like that.
Probably.
You know,
the thing is, it's weird on Long Island. Like Long Island doesn't have Long Island's a very weird motorcycle scene. You know, and it always kind of has been. It kind of has been.
There's no good riding.
Yeah, because it's just a flat island. You know, like you get some good riding on the North Shore, and it's cool to ride out east because out east it's all beaches and you know it's super nice. But like, you know, you don't get stuff like you get upstate. You don't get your back roads and your winding roads and your twists and your turns. You just don't get that.
Most turns we get are on ramps.
Yeah,
literally. That's it.
Hey, welcome to Dallas.
Yeah, but at least your on ramps and off and you know all that stuff is kind of cool. You're fucking 100 feet in the air.
Yeah.
That is kind of cool.
It's cool because y'all's like when we got out that Queensboro Bridge, it kind of like it rolled into a building.
Yeah,
it's just like it's so tight. It's so you know what I mean. I don't know. I love the energy. Every time I tell people, they'll ask me like, "Where's one of your favorite places that you've ridden to and been?" I was like, New York City, man. Yeah. Like that vibe, that energy is like, it's a lot. It's not so much that I want to ride there. It's just being there feels like you're plugged into the matrix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true.
Cool.
And
It's a cool
standing, you know, that our hotel was like looking back at the city. And, you know, once that sun goes down and those lights come on. Yeah, man. Or even when it's not, just sitting over there, it feels like you're looking at a fucking beautiful mountain range.
Let me tell you something. I grew up in New York. I was born in New York, born on Long Island. I've driven off the island hundreds of times. Every time, and even when I'm on tour, every time I come back through New York City to get to my house, I look at the city and it still blows my fucking mind.
It's the best skyline.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I can be gone for a week. I could be gone for 3 months. Every time I see New York City, I am in awe. Completely in awe. And it's just like, that's why New Yorkers take so much pride. Yeah. You know, like we sit in New York and we're like, this place is a shithole. And then if we go outside of New York and somebody says New York is a shithole, we puff our chests. We're like, yo, go fuck yourself.
What you just say?
Exactly.
Bing
like
bong.
New York's the best fucking place in the world. Fuck your life.
You know, but it's and that's why, you know, I'm very proud to say New York does have its own style.
Yeah,
in the motorcycle industry.
It does, for sure.
Whether it's from Dyna FXRs, you know, Choppers, I think is the most kind of, I don't want to say outstanding, but the most recognized. Like, you know, New York style, tight, you know, fast.
It's crazy how New York and like San Francisco still had a very similar style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's different. It's the same, but it's different.
Yeah.
You know,
like, I mean, when you think about it, you know, your city guys had to go for performance, you know.
And narrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, Dodge
your
cab doors, hop on sidewalks, people walking off the bus.
Suspension, things like,
Yeah, I mean, even the guys that were doing choppers, you know, you're talking, you got a narrow 39, you know, I'm talking about like in the 90s and stuff like that. You'd always have, you'd always have a sporty tank. You'd always have your mag wheels. You'd always have your dual disc brakes. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and it was different. Like, obviously, you had your SoCal choppers, so like, you know, it was more '60s style with the Wassel tanks,
which is rad,
and like stock frames and stock fittings on frames and stuff like that. But you know, your New York City guys and your NorCal guys, like those were they always wanted that performance. They always wanted those, you know, super fast, high compression engines, super fast motors. Like, you know, they want the dual disc brakes. They don't want a belt drive. They want a fucking chain drive on their like it's cool because, you know, seeing how those dudes did it back in the day and seeing guys nowadays, you know, replicating that to a T, like it's really cool.
Yeah, I think New York style is my favorite style of bike in general, not just chopper or FXR Dyna.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really have a performance bagger scene.
There's a handful of guys. I'm painting a performance bagger for a homie in Brooklyn right now.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys out there.
But I mean, like a style that makes it its own.
Listen,
being New York. You know what I mean?
In New York, you're paying too much fucking money for your house or rent, so you can't afford a performance bagger, bro.
And plus bags, you can't split.
Exactly.
Well, you can. I've done that.
Listen,
it sucks.
hold on. Real quick. Going back to me riding in New York City, John the Painter had a switchback. Mm-hmm. And he had bags on his switchback. And that motherfucker was splitting lanes.
Was it the Green Road King?
No, that was a switchback.
At that time,
that was a switchback. Mm-hmm. And that motherfucker was splitting lanes with bags. Him, and that dude Beaner.
Yeah.
I think that was a Road King or a Street
That was
Cloud.
a Road King.
It was a Road King that he raked and stretched. He had this long front end, but this dude had bags on his bike, and he's cutting in between two Toyota Camry fucking cabs.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is this guy doing?
I hate fucking splitting with the bagger, but it's
one of the homies from Detroit that came down with Clems and them, like he just left his bags at home.
Big Dave.
That's his
Big
name.
Dave.
Yeah.
I know Big Dave. Big Dave's cool as shit. But no, I love those Detroit guys. Detroit, I've read.
I did too, man. Like
Detroit's one of my favorite cities.
I haven't been yet, and it sucks because I want to go really bad, but it's another thing that's kind of like it would have to be a dedicated trip to Detroit. So,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's not on the way to anything. You know what I mean?
I mean, realistically, like if you say, for example, if you were up here during like, because when's the hometown rally?
It's the end of August, like it's like Labor Day weekend or something like that.
Okay. Oh yeah.
What I want to do with the homies is I want to do a whole UP loop around the lake.
Awesome,
that'd be cool.
And like do Detroit, do northern Wisconsin, like all the shit on the bike.
Go through Green Bay and then come down.
Yeah.
That'd be very cool.
Nice, man. But,
that'd be very cool.
Those Detroit guys, they took me out. I went riding with them, for the Woodward Dream Cruise.
Yeah.
And Brian took me out, put me up. But I love Detroit. Just giving them, them giving me their kind of experience, I fell in love with Detroit.
Yeah.
Absolutely fell in love with it, And Detroit was what's up. But, they come out to New York, we do the same exact thing for them.
How many times have you been to Sturgis?
3.
So what'd you think about this year's setup? Like, this is the first time you've set up in Sturgis?
This is the first time I've set up,
okay,
like with the company.
I'm interested in what Mark thinks because I felt like it was a better business decision to stay at the Black Hills Harley because there's a consistent day of people coming to your booth, and that's kind of where people go to spend money.
So I don't want to speak for Mark.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we hung out with them nearly every day when they were set up at the Chip.
Yeah.
I would think Black Hills would be better. I don't want to speak for him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think the Black Hills is a better. And we didn't set up. We didn't have a stationary.
Yeah, y'all just did
we just did
shows.
And
Yeah.
we think that was probably the move.
Yeah.
It sucks setting up, breaking
there was
down.
definitely certain shows that we missed out on that that were bigger that we should have gotten in on that we didn't really know about.
Yeah.
But from my understanding, Black Hills Harley Davidson is similar to Bruce Rossmeyer's in Daytona.
Destination.
Yeah.
So when you're at Destination Daytona, you go there to shop.
Yeah.
You're going there to spend money, just like Black Hills Harley Davidson. You're going there because you're like, hey, I want to go to the Progressive tent and get my shocks done. I want to go to the Bassani booth and I want to get a new road rage, like stuff like that.
Well, I can imagine like you guys bringing, like when it comes to the clothing things, whether it's vests or jackets or things like that, just the amount of quantity you'd have to bring because it's not like, hey, Lexan has one headset that fits everybody.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So
the way we do it, you want to?
Well, yeah. So basically, in a rally situation like that, we have wholesalers that are set up at either Black Hills Harley Davidson, Main Street in Sturgis. We have guys that are set up at Buffalo Chip. We have people that are set up all over the place. So we kind of go around and back them up and we pump them because the more they're doing wholesale, I mean, listen, man, the money's still coming to us anyway. We're still selling as a brand. But
you support the dealers and it helps
exactly.
Out. You have to.
And it helps because we're supporting those wholesalers and those dealers, like, they're more inclined to buy more from us because they're like, hey, this is a brand that backs. They don't want to just suck wholesalers dry. They actually back my company and back my brand.
We started as a wholesale company. We were straight wholesale.
Yeah.
Like, selling to Harleys and selling to, JP Cycle, Revzilla. We were straight wholesaler. Within the last, probably 4 or 5 years, we did a transition to retail, and it's not an easy transition. It's, you know, and we're walking that fine line to not piss off our wholesalers, to, you know, undercut them, which that's the last thing we want to do. We want to keep everyone in business.
There's still a certain number of things that we're like, hey, listen, like, you know, we're not going to do, you know, just because we don't want to fuck them over.
Yeah. You know, but we keep it even for everybody. You know, we have what we call MAP pricing, you know, MAP, minimum advertised pricing. So it ensures you that where you go, like if you shop online, that it's an even playing field.
Yeah.
You know, that, you know, wholesaler A isn't going to sell you short by a penny just to come up online from wholesaler B.
Yeah.
You know, just to make the sale. So, you know, and we police that pretty, you know, we have a dedicated wholesale team. That's what I started out as, and kind of formed our own department. You know, where I'm the only person there now that's the wholesale and retail. I'm both.
Yeah.
You know, go both ways.
Hey.
How you doing? But, you know, it's you know, we have a wholesale team, we have a retail team, and it's kind of what we do.
One thing that we do as well with our wholesalers is that we kind of give them a little bit of an edge, and that's what helps us out a lot. You know, realistically, we treat them kind of like the house in a casino. Like they always have that slight edge above our retail division. Yeah. Just because it helps them out a little bit, and it makes them want to keep buying from us anyway. You know, and if money's flowing in from either direction, we're good.
You know what's nice?
You know,
I don't have to put a filter on for this. So like we do the videos. Like, and we have to somewhat put a filter on.
Yeah,
because we have people like Revzilla watching nonstop, because Revzilla is a huge customer of ours, and you know, super professional. Yeah. So like if we curse or if we look disheveled,
if I curse on our Instagram lives,
I'm like,
they're
dude,
like, come on,
shut the fuck up. But now we don't have to worry about that. It's kind of nice. Different. It's kind of freeing.
They're the only ones that have a podcast that is rated higher than mine.
Really?
Revzilla.
In the motorcycle scene.
No shit.
Yeah.
They are.
They do everything right.
It's crazy.
Man.
Like
they're legit.
You know, you get companies like that you know. And obviously, you know, you're getting that all over the place, but you know, there's a lot of stuff that they do. It's just like that's smart, you know. And they got a good team over there. So
very good team. They know what they're doing. But now that it's not just Revzilla, that it's Komodo, which is they're the biggest name in the motorcycle industry right now. Next to Harley,
wholesaler. Yeah,
they're it.
Yeah,
you know,
never heard of her.
Komodo?
Yeah.
Komodo is Revzilla, JP Cycles,
Cycle Gear,
and Cycle Gear.
Damn. They own all three companies. Yeah,
all together.
So it's like you know, that, you know, Komodo Group or whatever, they own all three of those.
It used to be called MAG.
But
okay, I knew the MAG.
Yeah. Motorcycle Aftermarket Group, and now Komodo is the big player in the game with those three massive companies.
But I think what they do. What they're doing is they cater more to the customer, and they help the customer out a little bit more. You know, like the fact that it's like, I mean, within a day, like I ordered a Simpson, I ordered a Ghost Bandit, and I got it. And the day that I got it, it didn't fit. I got it. It's way too small, and I hit them up. Literally within 10 minutes, I had an RMA, I had a shipping label.
What's an RMA, Tim?
Return manufacturer.
You got a return label.
What?
You got a return label.
Is it an RMA number? Which is
not many people know RMA.
Okay, well, it was a return label.
Fucking salami.
And they gave me a shipping label, whatever, and I literally dropped it at the post office, and within like an hour, I had the notification saying that my other one was shipped out already.
Nice.
Revzilla's phenomenal.
And I got it in 2 days, you know? And that's that customer service that like we're still working on our stuff at first. Like we have a very small customer service team. It's literally like 2 people.
I mean, we have a small everything. People think that we're that didn't sound right.
I mean, hey, yo.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, yo.
I gotta talk deeper now just to make up for that.
Go out and buy a lifted pickup.
Oh yeah, huge.
Just to make sure people know.
Yeah, that's what's up. But we have a small team.
Yeah.
The whole company, First Manufacturing, is not large by any means.
Yeah.
It's people think that it's way bigger than what it is, that it's this corporate monster. It's not.
Yeah.
Our office in New York has maybe 25, 30 people in it.
Yeah, you got in the office.
Not big at all.
In the office, yeah, you're talking like 20 people, 20, 25 people.
Yeah.
In the warehouse, we probably have another 10, 15, But First Manufacturing by no means is a massive, massive operation. Like we're doing a lot, but everybody at the company wears 20 hats.
Oh yeah.
No matter what. And I think that's what helps that well-oiled machine run.
And like you said, we have 2 people doing customer service. We have 1 person doing social media. You got 1 person that handles all of the every single custom that comes in.
Yeah.
You're looking at them. It's we have a team of wholesalers, 5 wholesalers. So it's a small operation, and people don't seem to understand that. Which it's I love it because they think that.
Well, it's the nature of the beast when you're trying to do promoting.
Yeah.
You don't stop promoting because you're busy, right? Because then you fall off, right? Because there's this whole wagon, this whole hamster wheel going on that you have to stay on at all times. But at the same time, it's just difficult. I mean, you want to show the world everything you got going on, and it comes off massive through social media. Sure. Through the public eye, but when they kind of finally see the place, it's just I thought it'd be bigger. You know what I mean?
All the time.
I thought there'd be more people.
I mean, our warehouse is large in size because we house all the stock there.
We're the largest leather. I'm 90% positive that we're the largest leather warehouse by amount of jackets in the country.
Yeah,
100%. I don't think
100%.
I don't think. I mean, even your big box wholesalers and stuff like that, like Kohl's and Macy's and stuff like that, like most of the time, like they're not housing that stuff. That stuff is being shipped out by the individual brands, and it's all being drop shipped. Yeah. So I mean, even we have a fashion brand called Wet Blue. That luckily Kohl's picked up and they love the brand, so they've been selling our jackets on their website. All of those orders still come through our warehouse. So there's days where our pickers will get
800 orders.
100 orders in an hour.
No,
and they have to pick all those orders and ship them out.
Damn.
Yeah.
And our constant. I don't want to say problem because it's not really a problem, is that we always say, because we have so many new ideas, that we're just, we're bursting to get out there, but we don't have the manpower to actually showcase it yet.
Well, that's 100% why I haven't jumped into the T-shirt game yet. I'm a one-man operation. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm already juggling the paint work, the podcast.
You're a busy guy.
Listen,
full plate.
I got guys for that.
Yeah?
I got guys for that. With the band stuff, luckily we are at the point now, and we used to handle it ourselves, but we're at the point now where we have so many other jobs to do and so many other things to take care of that we have an outside source that fulfills all of our stuff.
And I looked into doing that. My only problem is that I'm a hands-on guy. If I don't feel like I touch it and I don't, you know what I mean? Then
that makes sense.
It makes it hard for me to want to pass it off, because if someone hits me and goes, man, I love the designs on those FASTLIFE shirts, but man, they just don't fit right.
The garment doesn't fit right. Yeah.
So I know that's a garment thing you can probably figure out, but still just the feeling of
course,
of being
doing
the
it yourself.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Doing it. It's like, I mean, I still ship out all my Tombstone stuff.
Yeah.
Like that stuff is in my pantry, all on a shelf. Whenever I get an order, I go into my pantry, I take it off, I bag it up myself, done and done. But I'm not getting a crazy amount of orders. If it got to the point where if I'm doing 100, 200 orders a month, there's no way I'd be able to keep up with that.
Yeah.
So to an extent, with your brand, starting out small and putting up a couple T-shirts on the website and stuff like that, that's easy. But if you're doing 100 T-shirts a month or 200 T-shirts a month, like it's hard to keep up with, man, and it's hard to actually do that.
I think next year I'll finally have, because I'm building the structure behind it. So I'm building an area in the shop with a scale with bins and all this stuff, so that when it happens,
you're ready.
I'm ready, and when we do drop stuff, it's not just going to be a T-shirt; it'll be a line.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's smart.
And you know, I just want to do it. You know, we haven't had a T-shirt since 16.
Yeah,
you know, and I've paid a lot of artists to design stuff.
Yeah,
that I am still waiting for.
Yeah, it sucks.
You know, and then you know, there's also this aspect. Well, I want to design some of my own shit, but I'm not really a T-shirt design artist or graphic artist like that.
Check it out.
Yeah,
there's guys in Indonesia.
I got 3 of them in my DMs right now. Yeah,
and it's crazy because like, and the large majority of motorcycle industry, you know, companies, you know, those designs, they're from these guys that just love the motorcycle world,
the culture,
that live over in Japan or Indonesia or something like that, and they're like, yeah, dude, $150, no problem, you know, because for them, they're like, yo, $150 is a lot of money, especially in Thailand. Like, you're talking about like a full meal is $4. I'm going to Thailand next summer.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get so fucking
gonna go
fat.
hang out with them lady boys.
So fat.
Hey, when you're there, they say it's just like normal.
Hey, listen,
I'm down for it.
listen, you know what?
It's all pink inside.
Oof, brother, man. You know, listen, people are into it. It gets weird. Like, that stuff gets weird with guys that go on those sex tourism trips and stuff like that.
That's a thing.
But
I thought we were talking about bikes and business.
But we're going over there for the first time, and it's
the first time for everything.
It is gonna be a blast. I'm gonna get so fucking fat.
Yeah,
we did Japan. It's one thing that I was bummed about when I went to Japan. I didn't get to do any of the bike stuff.
That's something I'd love to do.
Dude,
you want to see the next trend in motorcycles? Go to Japan.
If you want to talk about choppers,
their painters over there are changing the game,
dude. Those motherfuckers.
And I'm not even gonna try and do it. I'm just gonna quit,
dude. It's
I'm trying to learn that shit. Yeah,
it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing what these guys in the chopper world are doing. Like that dude Massa from it Luck MC?
Yeah,
bro,
they're incredible.
Everything that guy puts out is mind blowing.
Almost everything in the industry with motorcycles in Japan is kind of like, I don't want to say a step better. It's a step different in a better direction. Like, even if you look at publications, like here,
100%.
You know, almost all of the print magazines are almost all gone.
But they're still strong as fuck over there.
Hot Bike Japan, it's a fucking coffee table book.
Yeah.
300 pages of fucking rad bikes.
I've been into 3 different cultures that one came from Japan. It was the tuner culture of the early days. And their cars they would build over there were always fucking amazing. And then when I got into the lowrider scene, when I was doing a lot of murals and things like that, and worked for the company that was putting on shows all over America, the cars that would come from Japan or the things that just took place in Japan was on another level. They build everything with so much detail and class and quality. I think it just boils down to the way they are as a people. You know what I mean?
They love
the streets
Americana.
are supposed to be clean. Like, they take care of their country. It's just a completely different culture that I think breeds a higher professional craftsman, whether artistically or, you know, labor-wise.
I mean, and they're I would say on a next level with a lot of things, with paint, as you said, with actual building, with public. It's not as simple as publications. You know, it's once I got like the first Hot Bike Japan in my hands, I was like, this can't all be in there, and it was heavy and it slapped when you hit the table, and I'm like. Damn, I'm like, and I couldn't understand obviously any of it, all the articles, but I'm like, yo, there's probably some good shit in here. Like, you know, written in these pages, aside from the rad pictures of all these different types of bikes.
You can get those magazines on eBay. They sell them on there. They're pretty badass.
I got a plug over there. And
nice.
He ships them over whenever we know someone that's in it.
That when I first met Chris Kutis,
Chris Kutis, yep.
Kutis.
So I was hanging out at his house, and that was one of the times I had my first real good New York bagel situations.
Yeah, bro.
And we were on his garage there, and we were looking at this.
He has all the issues.
And I just like sat there, and I was like, "Man, you mind if I just rummage through these?" Because he had OG show class magazines, all the fucking Japan hot bikes.
He's got the Vibe magazines,
just
from
everything.
Japan. He's got everything.
It just like that to me. That shit is badass. And to me, like I could see myself putting an old school rocking chair in there, turning some music on, and just flipping through those magazines and shooting the shit.
We worked on a few bikes in that garage. And, you know, I'll find myself just going right over to that bookcase and just picking out a random issue and just like, damn, this is sick. This is awesome. But it's you know, them as a culture, you know, the Japanese motor culture, it's awesome. That's where you're going to get your next trend. I mean, there's some wild shit that I see out of there with like, you know,
I would say that, you know, to give us a little bit of a hit back, I feel like, I don't know if they've actually set trends as much as they have refined them.
Okay.
I can see that.
Sure.
You know, I mean, other than like the tuner culture, because that's Japanese.
That's there.
It came from there.
That's there.
I mean, they did hot rod culture better. They did fucking, you know, lowrider culture. I wouldn't say it's better, but it's definitely fucking on a level there. Motorcycle culture is that way too.
Sure.
Yeah. Dude, it's kind of wild how there's so many people from Asia that came over to the West Coast, and then they, like, being from the West Coast, they went back and they took those trends back.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously all those lowriders, it was all that West Coast scene, you know, and that you know, Mexican lowrider and the Chicano culture, like all that stuff, and they brought it over to Japan. Dude, some of those lowriders that they got in Japan are just like, I mean, you're talking $150,000, you know, 64 Impala.
And that's a normal one these days.
Yeah, that's normal.
That's crazy. Like, and it's funny because, like, you know, you have your Chevy purists who have a 64 Impala, you know, like a teal 64 Impala that is just bone stock, that they're looking at these guys like, those things are disgusting. You know,
we get that in the bike world.
That's just,
I mean, same
hard
thing.
in the bike world.
I mean, I would say this. There's less guys in the bike world that are into bone stock. There's
agree. I agree.
There's guys that are into stock,
but 100%. They still do
100%.
Things on it. It's not like I'm trying to keep this 2013 Electric Guide stock and original.
They'll change something.
Exactly.
Pipe
They always
grips,
change something.
But I mean, I always look at you as a stock guy.
Of course.
That over there, that's a Tim bike because that's a 1983 Super Glide that looks bone stock. That's a Tim bike.
So for me, like I grew up, my dad grew up like he was all about shovels. You know, my dad had a 72 shovel all the way up until I was like a year old. He got laid off from his job, and he had a 76 Triumph Triton or Trident, and then he had a 72 shovel. And he had to sell them both. And he didn't have a bike for like 15, up until I was like 14, 15 years old. And it killed him.
Our parents' generation made real sacrifices.
Yeah, exactly.
Like fuck them kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Me not getting milk in my coffee this morning.
Now, I'm
like,
like, fuck, man. Like, you know, buying a house is cool, but like, I'd rather have this, you know, $1,500 shovel head.
No, I'm just saying this apartment.
15 years without a motorcycle. You know, and that's the thing. Like he looked at it in a real aspect and was just like, "Yo, I gotta provide for my son." You know, and listen, man, my dad's made sacrifices for you know, my entire life with stuff like that, and I'll never be able to pay him back. Like, it is to the point where, like, I think all of it, like, I'll never be able to pay my back, like, pay my dad back for the shit that he's done for me. But
then you just pay it forward for your son.
But exactly,
that's the way it works.
You know, but yeah, I always liked the look of like a stock Super Glide tank to me, like a stock FXE tank. Oh,
yeah,
total boners, dude. I see that stuff and I see like a stocks, not a stock. I'm talking like stock with quotations. You know, something that looks fairly stock but was customized, stuff like that. That I'm into.
But I think with the aftermarket customization world, I do think that there's a lot of judgment going around with people that are more on the stockish side. Because like if the hardcore show that we were at, I remember someone, an old timer walking by, and he was on some Black Street Glide, go figure.
He stumbled in.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on?
And I
here?
remember he was like looking at, I think it was Mike's Road Glide. You know the bike, and he was like, it was right in front of our booth. He's like, "What are these orange cans on the rear fender?" I'm like, he's like, "Those look ugly." I'm like, he's talking about the piggybacks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You don't know what those are?" I'm like, "They're for the shocks, whatever." He's like, "They look, oh, you can't put a sissy bar on now." I'm like, "All right, dude, whatever. Like, go get a fucking clue where you're at."
Yeah.
But I think that there's almost like a lot of judgment. Like, I get judgment all the time on my high mids, on my chopper. They're like, "That doesn't look comfortable." No fucking shit, it's not comfortable, but it's cool.
Yeah.
So it's, I do think there's some judgment going around. Like T-bars. I remember a lot of old timers hated I put T-bars on my FXR, and people were like, "That looks so dumb." And this was, 8-9 years ago. People were like, "This looks dumb." Whatever, dude. It serves a purpose. Leave me the fuck alone.
Well, I think the bikes we all become very tribal, and even probably we also get that way where we are, man, fuck those other bars. We do T-bars. I'm guilty of that shit 100%. But
sick ape hangers,
listen,
brother.
Fuck you guys, get a sick pair of buckhorns and be done with it.
Yeah.
My dad's always loved buckhorns.
Yeah.
And it's just,
he's cut from a different cloth, bro.
It's a different breed, man.
But probably that's also why he was able to go 15 years out of bike, because he didn't actually ride a good. He didn't know what he was missing.
Yeah, I know.
But no, that's the thing. What I think that, to me, I feel like all the different types of bikes, when they come together, it's all good until I would rather that dude come and make fun of those cans, and then I was like, let me guess, you got ape hangers on yours, and then we just fuck with each other.
Of course.
That's fun. And then we go ride, and who gives a fuck, right?
Exactly.
Dude, all I do is shit on Tim every single day of my life.
Dude, all of us, we just shit on each other. But that's also that camaraderie and that brotherhood. Like, like, for example, it's the saying, like, he's a dickhead, but he's my dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, he's an asshole, but exactly, he's an asshole, but he's my asshole. Yeah. Like,
I'll call him an asshole. If you call him an asshole,
it's different.
I'm coming for your jaw.
I'm gonna swing on you.
Yeah.
And those are those cool things in the motorcycle scene that, like, I feel like you get to choose that family. Yeah. And your friends, like, I grew up, I'm a only child. Mm-hmm. So
privileged.
Honestly, very. I am the first to say that my parents spoiled the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But it's being able to pick and choose who you get to call your brothers and your sisters and your family, especially being in the motorcycle world. Like, it's a kind of a cool thing, and I've gotten close with Pat over the last couple of years, and, like, we hung out for a while, like, previously, but over the last 3 years, we've become way closer than we were.
I mean, now we're known as the first manufacturing bullies.
Yeah.
Slapping stickers on people. We didn't even slap stickers on people. We got blamed for slapping stickers on people.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
What was that, Myrtle Beach, right?
It started in Myrtle, and then it carried over into Sturgis. It wasn't even us doing it.
It was like
that's how the burnout thing in the bar at Down South Camphouse started, because of stickers.
Stickers start wars, too.
They do.
So
it was like a friend of a friend of a friend, like, just fucking starting shit, and it's the dumbest shit.
But then it turned into, Pat and Tim from First Manufacturing, they're just bullies. We're like,
yeah. Well, no. That didn't start with that. That started with fucking.
Yeah, dude. But it's like
that started with people taking photos that I took for First Manufacturing and put them on their website, selling it as their own.
Yeah, whatever.
But whatever.
But
we'll talk about that another time.
But we're labeled as the First Manufacturing bullies now, and now our kind of group of friends, Mark being in there, Chopsky, all those dudes. It's those are the dudes we hang out with and talk with every day, even though we're spread out all over the country. But now it turned into a joke where it's like, oh, Pat and Tim are coming. Who are they going to make fun of now? Or who are they going to bully?
I love it.
And it's like, we're not bullies. We just fuck around a lot. It's
sensitive people. I feel like the way to be a real, not a real biker, but it would be nice if everybody didn't take themselves so seriously within the motorcycle scene.
Loosen up.
Yeah, no.
You know, don't tread on me, brother. Like all this, dude. I don't want to come here and fight. I don't want to come here and bully people.
Take a joke.
I do want to do that, but like more like friendly,
in a funny way.
And what sucks is that like, you know, and you'll get this all the fucking time. People trying to badmouth other people just in order to get ahead. And like for me as a human, I've always took a business approach. If your product, or if you as a human being, or if whatever you're doing isn't good enough to sell itself, that you have to put other people down in order to sell whatever you're selling, then you're a dickhead.
Yeah.
You know, then your product's not good. Your product is dog shit.
If your product's good, it'll sell itself. Like, let's say you were a dick, but your paint job's a fucking next level.
I am a dick.
Listen, we're all dickheads, but like,
and look what happens. People still love your paint job and still want to buy them.
Yeah.
You know, we know people on the island.
Because you're putting out a good fucking
But I don't
shit, but
I don't talk shit about other painters. Even whenever people come to me and try to like pit the painters against the painters, I don't ever play into that shit. And I believe that there's levels to the paint game.
Sure.
Of course.
I've been through. I'm on a level right now, and some people are on another level higher than me. And so, like, shitting on any painter while they're on these different levels, it's not fair because...
What's the saying? What's the saying? I know you're thinking about it.
It's okay. For me...
It's a good saying.
For me... There's a couple things that come to mind with what you're talking about with different levels, and I dealt with this a lot in the music world, man.
Say the same.
The shoulders that you step on the way to the top are the same shoulders you step on the way down.
Yeah.
So you always need to tread lightly. You know, you're gonna pass certain people, right? But at a certain point, you're gonna need to rely on those certain people in order to stay relevant and do all that stuff. So you don't want to burn those bridges.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that live their life on burning bridges, and that's totally fine. But like, man, I can't tell you how many bands like, you know, we've toured with that treated us like total dog shit.
Yeah.
And treated us like subhumans. And then now they're crawling to try and get on. They're clawing at the bit just to try and get on tour with us. And it'll never happen. We'll be like, nah, man, you know, we're going in a different direction. We'll be nice about it.
Yeah.
But we just like, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
You know, and now they need us because we've surpassed them. You know, and it's the same thing with that.
Don't be a dick. That's kind of what I've always...
That is literally my life motto is
don't be a dick. It's you know, I mean, we get
don't be a serious dick.
Don't be a serious dick.
Yeah, like I'm a dickhead. I'm a dickhead, but like I pride myself on putting good energy into the world. Like I'm not going to be an asshole to anybody. Like, listen, people make their decisions to make their decisions, and that's it. Like I'm not going to, like, don't get me wrong, I'll talk shit about Pat
all day.
But like if I don't know you and I don't know what you're going through or whatever the fuck, I'm not going to try and talk shit about you to put you down to somebody else for me to get ahead. Like that's just not my thing.
Don't do that.
It shouldn't be like that with anybody. There's certain people that do it, but it's like, you know, what kind of human are you to do shit like that?
Yeah.
You know, and man, it's just don't be a dick. Like it's a fucking life motto.
I mean, we have fun.
No bozo activity. No fucking bozos.
I mean, we do have a lot of fun being where we're at, knowing the people we know, you know, the people we relate with. We have a lot of fun, and I wouldn't change it for anything. You know, it's we're, you know, even being for First, we have business relationships with, you know, other companies such as Lexan. That's you know, that's one of the main ones. And it just so happens that we're super close with those dudes, Mark and Anthony, and they just happen to be super rad fucking dudes that will call up any hour of the day and be like, yo, what's up? And just bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, it's like me and you working together.
Yeah.
It's fucking fun. It's cool. But at the end of the day, it's a job and it pays the bills.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love it.
You got to have a certain level of professionalism to keep it going.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Like next time, be on time.
I was on time. I was here the whole
First of all, this guy told me that he's doing it.
It was going to be the
I didn't know that I was doing it.
It's okay.
But it's good that you did because you get to bounce.
Yeah,
and you
I'm
get to
stoked
talk
that
about
I
it.
did because, like,
Now it's not. If it was just him, it'd be an interview.
Yeah, that's true.
With three, it's a party.
Of course,
right?
Of
So-
course.
Gave it's a three-way.
Hey, listen, I'm in. You know what? It's like I like being able to come to events like this.
Yeah.
And hang out with people and have a good time, and like it's still technically business. Like I'm still talking about work. We're pumping the company. We're doing this, but it's such a casual conversation, and we're just kind of spitting things off.
You're getting a lot more than just we sell vests and pants.
Exactly.
And this,
you're getting a feel for, and the same thing with you. It's like you're getting a feel for who the company is, who the painter is, who people are as individuals, and like. People are kind of stoked, like, hey, like, I like these guys. They have a level head on their shoulders. I'm gonna go spend $300 on the vest.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, we design the shit. We're coming up with the ideas. We're going into the office. We ride. Like, we're designing the shit for what we want, for what we like. Yeah, do we get a little outlandish? Like, I'm a big fringe guy. I love fringe. Yeah. He knows this. I mean, you've probably seen some pictures.
I dig it.
It's I'm not gonna pump that out to the general public.
I just hate it because I can't rock it. Yeah. I don't have the personality. Yeah. I don't know. I'm envious of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
that fucking brown jacket, bro. It gets me every time. Well, I do. We have to cut it off, man.
Oh.
Okay.
I got another guest waiting in the hallway. They're like, hey.
Man, whatever.
Oh, that's nice. They could wait.
But anyway, so people can go to the website, which is
absolutely
First Manufacturer. It's firstmfg.com.
Is there also a dealer list on there for people to be able to find the dealer?
Yeah. So if you go to the bottom of the web page, go to the bottom footer. You can find a dealer locator, so you can find all of the, regular dealerships, leather stores, Harley dealerships that carry our stuff. I think we have like 100, 200 Harley dealerships that are carrying our shit now.
We have one in every state, and, at least one.
We are trying to work on getting our custom vest program into a lot of leather stores and dealerships so that you can go try on a custom, see what it's like, see what those swatches are like, the stitch patterns, the colors, see
feel
that in person.
Yeah, feel
exactly.
it and actual build it there.
Say, hey, listen, like this is more of an experience than it is just me going online and ordering something and being surprised when I first see it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Go to the Instagrams, First MFG, talk shit on Tim. That'd be awesome.
Do not send me messages at 1 a.m. asking about your orders.
Do it.
That happens all the time. Guys are like,
you
guys, it's Saturday night at like 1 a.m. and they're like, well, where's my order? I'm like, bro, I'm sleeping. Like I'm watching episodes of Jeopardy. I'm watching hockey. Like, leave me alone.
Huge, isn't it?
Nah.
It's so nice not having a filter on.
You're on the Pornhub and then the fucking notification drops down. And you're like, oh, I came to this guy.
Man.
Oh my god.
Moment's gone. Can't do it.
Gone.
All right, guys.
But yeah, man.
When you guys come to Dallas, we're gonna keep this going in the live. It'll be a fun time.
Listen, I am in Dallas. I will be in Dallas in late January.
Yeah.
So I'm playing at Amplified. So I'd love to come hang out. I got time. Let's chill.
We should do that, and then you should fly in.
I'm down.
And then we'll all go to the show.
Yeah.
If you can get us free tickets.
Been friends with him for a decade, never been on the guest list.
It's Dallas.
I'll pay for it.
I might be able to get you. I mean, listen, technically it's outside, so you can stand in a parking lot and listen to us.
No.
I think I'd rather that.
I'll work it out.
When you come to New York?
I'm supposed to be coming to New York late January, so we'll figure that out. So it'll figure, I wanted to bring my son there. So I was going to bring my son out.
Hell yeah.
Huge Spider-Man fan. I know he's not real, but
listen,
he's real to me, damn it.
It's still cool. Like there's a lot of comic book history in New York.
Yeah.
And seeing stuff like that, like especially with the new Spider-Man movie coming out in December, like what you should watch all the movies.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, this is where he did this. This is where he did this. He'll be stoked on it.
It's rad. But come to New York, bring your son.
More than welcome, man.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Yo, I want to thank Pat and Tim for sitting down and doing this podcast. It was a long time coming. Been hanging out with these guys for the last year, and I'm stoked to finally have them on the episode and looking forward to doing more episodes and having more fun with these guys. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, please check out our sponsors at the beginning of this episode. A lot of great opportunities for you to save money on badass products for your bike and yourself. So check them out. And also, if you want to support this podcast further, the Patreon is how to do that. We have unreleased content on there. and we're kind of gearing up for a whole new wave of that content for next year. So appreciate all your support. We got one more podcast to drop before the end of this year, and then we'll be back around mid-January with some more podcast fire. So till then, thank you. Have a good Christmas, and we'll see you next year, or on the next podcast, and then next year. Okay, peace.